name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man, who always thinks he can. And oh yeah, your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. Damn right. And it's not just me in the Yard of Streams. It is me and the best of the West you can't forget about. Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
See, every time you do that, hello, like whatnot, I have this visual image of like either a Jillian Hall. I won't say the other one because I think Jillian Hall's a compliment. Like coming out of Gorilla, like interrupting two dudes cutting promos on each other in the ring. And it gets me every time. So
Thanks.
I know how much you love Jillian Hall, how much we love Jillian Hall here on the show.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's popping? It's been a hell of a week in the world of wrestling, world of me. I'll tell you that. Holy shit. It feels like I legitimately haven't stopped going all week. Just literally solving problems all around the city of Boston. It's a lot of fun, especially driving Boston. I can't stand it. I'm getting annoyed. It is easily in my top 3 least favorite things to do, and it's not 3, so let's put it that way. It's the worst. I don't know where you peeps live or if we have any Boston peeps here. If we do, sup. But oh my god, trying to find a parking spot, like the other day, I have to pay my fucking a parking ticket because a stupid sign was like hidden. Doesn't matter. But to find a parking spot to begin with in Boston is without a doubt one of the most impossible tasks. Because you're just double parking. I mean, if you're in there by 11, you're too late. You know what I mean? All the garages are full. It
reminds me of Remember the show Parking Wars? Oh my god.
Parking Wars?
Oh my god, yeah. It was like in the mid 2000s, 2010s. I loved that show. They were never in Boston. They were always like in Philly or Detroit. And it was just following the people who work for the city or the state, whatever, and give out the parking tickets.
Oh, they were following around meter maids?
Yeah. And the ones who boot cars also, for whatever. I don't know. It's so entertaining. Like it doesn't sound that fun, but I loved that show. And they sometimes still put it up on A&E, and I watch it if I see it.
I mean, there's those shows like that, Cops. There's another one too that was on True TV for a while where they just go around and repoing people. I think it was. Like those shows, it's mindless television.
Yeah.
You're just glued because it's just people watching. Everybody loves the people watch. What do you think I learned all my knowledge about people?
Yeah.
On mis ojos. We're already talking about peeps. So let's just hear from the peeps in the chat. Our loyal peeps, our Pits, Fits, and Yes Boys. We got to bring that back, especially for like when merch comes out and people are interested. I got ideas cooking up in here, especially the Fickle Pickles. We got our actual Yes Boys in front of us. Imagine if Gunther turned Pretty Deadly into the next Imperium.
That would, I as much as I would love it, I also would hate it because I don't think Pretty Deadly would be Pretty Deadly anymore. You know what I mean? They'd have to be like
they would do no. Pretty Deadly is still Pretty Deadly. Like even aligning with Gunther.
I just
like
don't know.
It's a clash that like I feel like there's something there where it would benefit both parties. Just saying. I might have to go talk to the Heartbreak Kid and the game themselves and ask if they're ready for that collaboration. Sup, Jay? How you doing? Nathaniel, hey. David was popping. Nathaniel, I'm getting an AEW championship soon, either TNT or World Championship. I would go with the world. The brand stuff I'm not a fan.
Is it accurate that they sell them for $850? Because that's what I saw.
Are you serious?
I just saw someone post pictures from the merch stand at an AEW show, and one of the replica titles was $850. So if that's the case, Nathaniel, don't do that. You can buy a WWE one for half that.
I'll be honest with the peeps. $425. I think, Sarah.
Yeah.
Something $425. Like you were there.
It was like $425, $450. It was something like that.
But it was worth it.
But imagine buying an AEW like replica world title for $850.
AEW too.
Like, I mean, go if that's what you guys want to do, that's what you want to do. But like, that seems like a lot of money when the superior company doesn't even charge you that much, unless it's for like, you know, the John Cena like 20-year anniversary.
Get it?
Or
totally understand why you're doing it. Not a fan.
Yeah,
get it.
Like an AEW world title. I don't know if that's accurate. It's just I saw it on Twitter. People were posting it. So I'm like, if that's the case, I don't know, guys. I don't know. You could probably spend some of that on something else.
Bernard, I'm good, Bernard. How you doing? Hey.
Happy almost birthday. Hey, my sister's birthday's on Sunday too. Happy early birthday.
Ayo to Vinny. It's hot AF apparently. Storage Wars. That's the show I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
Storage Wars.
I can't deal with the people that they have on the show now, so I don't watch it. I miss Barry. The old guy that only liked real vintage stuff. And he was super rich. That guy. He's not on the show anymore. So.
Oh, sad. Very sad. How do I get rid of the comment? All right, there we go. You know what? Let's turn those frowns upside down, Sarah. All right. Barry may not be with us, but Pitts and Sarah are here with you, peeps, to give you a lot of wrestling talk today, Sarah. Just a brief overview. Obviously, we're going to start with what our favorite and least favorites are, but like crazy shit happened on the Wrestleverse between crossovers, both on screen and on social media. At least for a brief second, it was on social media, but the picture will live in infamy. And then obviously we have the 1, 2, 3 count, which Sarah, I need to preface this right now. I cannot describe to you enough how absolutely insane yesterday's stream was of the bad gal. And thank God we got our loyal peeps, Bernard, who was in the stream. All right. Bernard's watching it, guys. Get over there. All right. It's really fun. Probably one of my favorite things I do for content I've ever done. And I'm not just talking about wrestling, like ever. Like without a doubt, it was so insane, but you would be absolutely in love with it. Like you would be, you're going to be hooked to your own storyline. I cannot wait to describe it to you. But we have to wait because that's my main event. And obviously, before you get to the main event, you got to hit the dark matches and the opener. So let's hit the opener with our favorite segment of the week.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
It is our lemon and rosebuds of the week. Favorite and least favorite things that we saw in the world of wrestling this week. Does not have to be a show. It does not have to be something we saw on Twitter. It could be anything that involves wrestling, because just the fact that wrestling is as hot as it has ever been in this day and age, and the pop culture crossover, it really just makes my heart melt. It really does. So I'm going to sit with my emotions for a second, Sarah, and because I've been royal rambling and I'm feeling great, I want you to tell not only me, but the peeps what your favorite thing in wrestling was this week.
Well, I just saw it on Twitter. And that was that Nick Khan and Triple H met with the mayor of London to discuss bringing WrestleMania to London.
Oh, that's breaking news to me.
Yeah. So that's pretty exciting, because when John Cena came out and was like, we need to bring WrestleMania to London, you're like, okay, what are we doing? Like, are you announcing that? You know, because it felt very random. I understand they were in front of a London crowd, so you're kind of trying to take the low-hanging fruit to get them to go crazy. But it's like, okay, they wouldn't have necessarily let him go out and say that if there weren't plans of potentially bringing a Mania to London, or the idea hadn't been discussed or something. So because nothing had really happened since then, other than Triple H being like, yeah, that would be great, we want to do it in the future, like, do you guys want it? Nothing has really been said about it in the months since. So the fact that they're actually having conversations now with a guy that would kind of be one of the guys that would mark it off and be like, yes, we can do that. That's pretty exciting. And I feel like London is a pretty cool place for most people to go. Like, if you're going to travel for WrestleMania, obviously a lot of people do, but I feel like London is it's like a halfway point, or like a universal easy city for people to go to. Like Americans will go there, and people from Asia will go there, and Australia, whereas like it's not always the most exciting to have to go to the United States for a WrestleMania, so I don't know. I felt like that was kind of exciting.
Wow. I mean, that's breaking news. That's incredible. And that would absolutely be the first WrestleMania overseas. And wow, I mean, that's a really big step for the Triple H era, kind of what we're calling it. Can you imagine? I mean, that's global coverage. That's global coverage. I mean, that's fucking genius. Like, that's why they are the WWE. I'm sorry.
And we know that they already have WrestleMania 41 booked, but as far as we know,
that could be 42.
They're going to be
gonna get screwed again.
Huh?
Is Minnesota going to get screwed again?
No, they already signed that deal. But they didn't sign off on 42. They said in the future. They didn't say that they were for sure getting Mania 42.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Are they going to get?
I mean, it's possible. I think it just depends on like whatever that agreement is. But I wouldn't blame them for wanting to do London before doing Minnesota. I mean, I think that again, it's going to come down to the extent of the agreement that they already have. And if there is a timeline in it that maybe we just aren't aware of because we're not privy to that information, obviously. But it also, I don't think it would be a bad idea for them to hold off until like Mania 43. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, I think 43 would be the best bet
for London.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. And we already know, like, if you know that before announcing it, then we know that Triple H, or at least from what they tell us, they try to plan things far in advance. So that gives you enough time to be like, okay, we want to make something really big for Mania 43 because it's going to be in London, So I don't know. I feel like that would be pretty cool and really cool for Europeans or anybody that is like much closer traveling wise to London than they are to the United States. Like that's pretty cool for them.
It's really cool. Like I can't wait. Now Champ's got to get his passport immediatamente.
I would love to go, but I don't know. We'll have to see because like
put it this way, Sarah, 43.
I know, but adult
no, see, you're not thinking dream here, okay?
All right, well.
If it's 43, we go for 41, it's our own dime. 42, probably like half and half, like our dime. Maybe make some money from this, and then we can go for like cover it, like actually do stuff there, you know what I mean? And it's like our job. Like that's what I'm saying. All right. Dream big, aim high. Well, if you miss, well, you're amongst stars. Superstars in this case. All right, I'm going to continue my Royal Rambling here with my Rosebud of the week. It's nothing on wrestling television. It's actually on the podcast waves. Our good friend that we met at WrestleMania 41, speaking of WrestleManias, Chris Van Fleet interviewed Dijak this week on his show. And it's a must listen or a must watch for anyone who likes to watch podcasts on YouTube. Listen, I love these interviews that he does, not because he's interviewing a wrestler that is mainstream right now or one of my favorites. he does a great job at it because he asks the right questions, and he makes the conversation so entertaining and enjoyable for the listener that he's not asking the same cookie cutter questions or different questions just to be different. Like, he's really getting into some stuff that, we want to know, but also knows, where to draw the line, and they respect him. I mean, Dijak even said, he's like, no, pleasure's all mine, man. I love driving and don't mind driving out to you. So you can tell he had to drive at least an hour to get there. So, like, I loved it. And the shit he talked about, especially with the Retribution era, which that was when I was falling out and was not in the Wrestleverse. And hearing stories about it and whatnot, and how it feels like it was the rise and fall of Retribution and just how poorly it was handled. And then to have him talk about literally, internally how they viewed Retribution and how it started out so hot and it actually was a good idea, especially with going on with, pairing to COVID television essentially. And they just dropped the ball because they didn't care, or it really came down to the person handling it had no idea what they were doing. But I love those interviews, and it was a really good one. Go check it out right now. Seriously, it was that good.
Yeah, I think the thing, like we've talked about before with Van Vliet, is that he's well versed in wrestling because he's a fan. He grew up a fan, so he knows about the business on the inside and out. He has fan knowledge from growing up as a fan, but then he's also still invested in what's going on. So then when he goes to interview these guys, it's like he makes sure that he's caught up with everything that's gone on with this person.
Yeah.
He knows their history. He knows their present. He asks about their future. And then because people like him, they'll give him a good interview most of the time, and then he also makes them comfortable, so he gets those answers that people might be too hesitant to ask them, or if someone else asked it, they might not want to give them an answer. And so I think that's what makes his interviews fascinating, because like I have watched interviews with people that he's done that I don't even really care about that wrestler. I'm like, oh, I want to see this interview because it's a wrestler and it's Chris Van Vliet. Like, I want to watch it. And I've even watched interviews of people that he's interviewed before. I've watched his John Cena ones, and it's like, I don't really know how much more new information John Cena is going to say, but I enjoy the banter and the conversation that he has with banter. Chris. So I will watch them. So I'm like, he should really be like the leading interviewer. I feel like, in the NFL, they have like Erin Andrews, like she's always doing these interviews, or whoever. It's like, that should be Chris Van Vliet in WWE.
It really should be.
I mean, he does AEW interviews too, so I guess maybe he's just like the leading guy in wrestling.
I want him to be all of wrestling. That's the thing.
Well, he is.
I want him to.
He is.
But on like television too.
Oh, well,
I'm greedy.
I think because he's like has his hands in so many different promotions, but then he also is still doing, movies and stuff like that. It's like he can't commit to just wrestling right now. So
he is really big in Hollywood.
Yeah.
We kind of forget that. So yeah, that's what we like. But Sarah, what should I say? I don't really have a lemon, so I'm just gonna say my lemon of the week is Kenny Omega not being on AEW television because I miss him, and I heard his theme song before we recorded and realized how much I missed him, and especially after last night with Blood and Guts and how he wasn't in it, and how the last Blood and Guts I was at, I'm like 90% sure, and he was there, and it was him, Kota Ibushi, the Young Bucks, like incredible. Which kind of leads us to your lemon. I think is this going to be your lemon, the chair?
Oh, are we not talking? Do you not have a banner for it?
I do have a banner for it, but like
I can make it. That's fine. That's fine.
So.
Oh, okay.
Talk about it.
Yeah,
because you're the one that. Yeah,
I feel like I always have to preface this by saying that I do not watch AEW television. Like, I don't watch the shows. So if you want to completely disregard any opinion that I have, even though at the end of the day it's professional wrestling, feel free. But I do want to talk about the viral clip from Blood and Guts of the what appears to be unprotected headshot on Jack Perry, and it's caused like a massive debate online with some smarks claiming that the chair was gimmicked. Of course, they all say that. I think a lot of it is just AEW tribalists who just want to defend the company at any cost, because at the end of the day, you're not
lemon.
You aren't going to know if the chair is gimmicked or not. Didn't seem like it, didn't look like it. And given the history of Jack Perry and the crazy things that he is willing to do, I really would not be surprised if that was a legit headshot. We just, whatever. So if we're just going to accept it for what we believe was a legit headshot, I just want to, I want to ask people on what planet do we need unprotected headshots in professional wrestling in 2024? That's what I want to understand. Have we not been taught enough about, let's just look at wrestling. Don't even have to go to like professional sports and concussions and head injuries and stuff like that, right? Most of which was implemented because of stuff that has happened in WWE. Like we're going to talk about 2007 and the head injuries that were sustained by Chris Benoit, which then led to concussion protocols across all of major sports. Let's not talk about that, right? Because like that stuff doesn't matter. I just don't understand the point of doing stuff like this. Like we were talking about it before we went live. Like I understand trying to live up to the name. That the name of the show is Blood and Guts. You're supposed to be doing crazy, hardcore, like shocking things. Like you want it to be bloodsy, gutsy. I get it. So I'm not saying like, no, don't do that type of stuff. Obviously, you want to live up to what the point of this show is. However, I think that we have seen enough in the last 17 plus years since these headshots were banned in virtually every wrestling promotion. You can still have shock value in things that you're doing, even in matches that are meant to be a little bit more hardcore, without risking serious injuries specifically to your head. Like you don't have to do these things.
They don't.
And I said to you as well that it feels like Jack Perry is going too far. Like he wants to keep pushing the envelope, and you can applaud that in a certain degree, but you know, there's the controversy of the real glass, you know, and like, yeah, it's kind of become a joke, but it's because of what came of that, right? But still, that's dangerous that you're like putting your body on the line for real glass when you don't have to do that. The effect of fake glass is the same. You know what I mean? So a chair shot to the head, there are potentially long-term repercussions of that for what, 2 seconds of a shocking move on wrestling TV. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy to me that we've gotten to a point where, you know, Corey Graves tweeted about this. It didn't say anything negative about AEW, was just kind of questioning why they were doing this and using his own personal experience, which one time being hit too much in the head resulted in him having to retire from wrestling at age 30. So I think that we can listen to what he has to say on the subject. He had to delete his tweet because the weirdo tribalists started coming after him and probably in sending him like nasty things. Like, why are we living in this universe where you can't say, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't hit each other in the head with a steel chair?
Because you're gonna have people, Sarah, who just, they want that. That is a sect of wrestling fans that they don't know really a lot of that stuff that goes into it, and if they do know, they don't care. It's that type of fan that I see when I go to, you know, the indie shows in Maine and all across New England, where that is their life. You know what I mean? Like they don't, obviously they watch the WWE prop, but like that's their John Cena who they're watching at 8 p.m. on a Thursday in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's just like, to me, you don't see the bigger picture, and you're not getting, you're only seeing the show that's in front of you, and you're not caring for the entire product as a whole, which actually inevitably affects the show that is in front of you. That's my big thing with it. And I get it. I love all wrestling, as we know, hence here. But I am not a fan of it anymore because we know what it leads to. I mean, for God's sakes, the greatest tragedy in wrestling history happened on my birthday. All right.
Yeah.
Like it's just stuff like that where, and we know we have to be better. And I mean, for God's sakes, like big name stars who have gone through it are even saying like, yeah, no, man, not doing it. And they get it. They're saying it for a reason because they felt it. It's not right.
Well, it's like you're in the entertainment business, and wrestling is all about being entertaining, whether you're getting cheered for or booed. But there are ways you've gone so many years successfully, at least wrestling has, without having to do that kind of stuff. And the whole thing, I think, is just ironic because AEW has gotten a lot of controversy surrounding them for their safety protocols and like the lack thereof per se, and Tony Khan has tried to sell to all of us that AEW is the safest wrestling company in the world, blah 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 blah, I know you're going to defend your company, and that's what he does. Like the roof could be falling and he would tell you like, oh no, we're fine, like he's just that type of dude. But when you have stuff like this happening, and this is bad, but also a lot of the criticism that they've gotten regarding safety has been involving head injuries. So this is, again, the latest example of them doing things carelessly and unnecessarily and not living up to the words of what he's trying to tell you. It's like, no, we're very safe. We're this. We care about our talent. That doesn't seem like you care about your talent. It doesn't matter if you got like a shock. Oh my God, can you believe that? It's like, you guys don't have to do these things. And the Tribalist fans also were trying to compare it to when Cody threw the chair recently. Can you explain to me how throwing a steel chair at someone is the same thing as literally putting your might behind a headshot?
It's very different, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, it's very different.
I think that's part of the problem that we talked about with the like AEW versus WWE fans that are obsessed with the other brand and hating on it is, trying to defend the company that you watch against the company that you don't doesn't mean that you need to try and be like, well, but WWE did this, or but AEW did this. Like, no, wrong is wrong at the end of the day. And you don't need to try and grasp at straws to try and compare something that's not the same. Okay, like you can't tell me that we've seen a chair headshot in WWE recently. It's not happening. And I think a lot of people think that people are making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. But as I said to you before we went live, it's not an isolated incident, first of all. And the chair shot isn't necessarily the big problem. It's like it's a bigger issue. Headshots are an issue. Long-term effects of head injuries is an issue, and it needs to be taken seriously instead of just having a shocking moment like this for a clip to go viral online. Like, is it really worth short-term memory or memory loss for Jack Perry? Is it worth getting a concussion? Is it worth like ending your career at a young age? No. That's why former wrestlers are speaking out about it. Like even Bully Ray talked about it. I'm not sure what he said, but I know that he talked about it on Busted Open. So I don't know. I feel like this shouldn't be a controversial topic. It should just be like, we shouldn't be doing this. I don't know.
I know what you mean. It just, that's life. That's life.
People are never going to universally agree on something like this, unfortunately. Although I feel like at the end of the day, we can all agree that concussions and head injuries are not a good thing. I think we can all agree on that. But how we get to that point apparently is not something we can agree on. So that's kind of crazy to me.
I kind of want to get some comments from the peeps, but
okay.
Yeah, let's do that quick. It's a good question, David. I actually have seen this floating around. because Bobby Lashley's contract is up. They are not going to renew it. There's rumors about that. It's up soon. And it's been noted that he's going to continue wrestling after, even if he doesn't get a deal done with WWE. I believe Bobby Lashley and MLW would be filthy. That would be really good for MLW.
I really want him to stay in WWE, but I would only want that to happen if they actually utilized him. So that's the thing. Is like, I can't, as much as I would hate to see him leave because he's such a staple in WWE and like he's still performing at such a high level despite his age, I wouldn't be mad about somebody wanting to continue pursuing what they're doing and actually getting to do what they want to do, instead of sitting in catering or whatever. Like, I can't get mad at him for wanting to do that. So
this is the weirdest feeling I think or any wrestling fan has had. Very specific. Why? I'm like, this, the thing is, why those two of all?
Well, and what led you to thinking about the Royal Rumble already? Like, I'm not even thinking about the Royal Rumble, but
only reason what was today is because I was looking for a hat for the gym and my Royal Rumble skull cap or winter hat, and I was like, oh, I like that logo. Love that hat. So, Ken Shamrock, you know what, Byron? I'm not going to totally disagree with you because the champ doesn't totally do that. I can see Ken Shamrock for the Endeavor UFC connection. That would be it.
I think that we might be getting away from having too many of those like shocking entrances or shocking returns in Royal Rumbles. Agreed. Because the rosters are so stacked, like you don't need that anymore. Like, as fun as it would be, I guess I wouldn't be mad if they took the place of someone like, and I'm just naming him because he was the first one that came to my mind. I wouldn't be mad if like a legend or something replaced Akira Tozawa, who's like clearly not going to win the Royal Rumble. Those I think is okay because then you're just replacing him with another person who's not going to win, but he's going to get like a bigger pop because it's like, oh, well, that's the Godfather or whatever. You know what I mean? That I'm like more okay with, but I
pop for the Godfather.
It's when they replace somebody who it's like, well, they deserve to be in the Royal Rumble. Like, that's when I have a problem. So
I don't need to get into my Royal Rumble feelings. Byron, you should probably get these feelings checked out because these are two weird feelings.
Well,
if you get a third, you're out.
His contract is coming up, and the only reason I can see him coming back is one, the new regime running WWE were Keith Lee fans, and two, obviously his wife is in WWE, but she's also not necessarily like thriving. So
I disagree. I think she's doing well.
Recently, the past couple of weeks, from jumping from SmackDown to NXT, yes, but I'm saying that's recent. If we're gonna talk about like since like the past year, I'm not gonna say Mi Shin has been like a star in the women's division. She hasn't been because they weren't using her, So I think if I were Keith Lee, you would kind of want to like consider it. Maybe he should go to TNA. Maybe that would be a better place for him or something, Yeah, I knew the second he went to AEW that it wasn't going to work long. It was so obvious. I'm like, that was one of the signings that you could attribute to Tony Khan just trying to take a WWE talent and sign him in AEW. That was what that was. He never had any plans to really like make Keith Lee a star or to like use him on a weekly basis. It was just a more of a ha ha ha, I took your guy. That was what it was.
What else?
In my opinion.
Speaking of his wife, though, she does come up in the bad gal.
Are we friends?
No.
Oh, darn it.
No. You were really mean to her. Like, even I was even like, can we chill out? Do we really need to go this far? But yeah, wow, I can't wait to describe that because boy howdy, that was a hell of a time. Oh, twitch.tv/Nonsense Sports Network, please, every Wednesday. But before we go to the Nonsense Galaxy, Sarah, we have to take a trip around the Wrestleverse, all right? Because a lot of shit's happened as we kind of had one banner already that unprotected chair shots are bad.
Mm-hmm.
They are bad. but other shit has been happening. To the point where Pat McAfee has kind of got himself into some hot water, putting the banner up, going to the tweet so I can follow along and be accurate, at least somewhat, with my statements about it. So thank God for ringside news sometimes. So Spark notes the story. Pat McAfee and his goons are in WWE 2K24. And people are like, what the fuck? Why do we need the Pat McAfee show in WWE? And I get it, because wrestling fans like Pat McAfee, but don't really like or would like the Pat McAfee show. It's two worlds coming together that kind of just they clash.
But that's because his co-hosts are irrelevant to.
That's what I'm getting to. They're relevant to the Wrestleverse. They're just goons that are in the sports world. Great. That doesn't translate to this one. And because of that, his goons, went on a little bit of a rant talking about how no one wants to play with some of these wrestlers. So who cares?
Well, you have the actual quote?
I have the story up. I'm getting it up. I was just
because the quote is like way worse.
Yeah.
He was specifically talking about NXT talent.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the legit quote because I want to. Nope, I clicked on the wrong thing. Shit. Sarah, do you have it up?
I'll try and find it.
I can just type it quick. I thought what I clicked on. No. Okay. No, Pat McAfee create back. Here we go. All right. Pat McAfee, so they called it the worst DLC of all time. That's rude. You know, a lot of people are pissed, especially that D Butch, Connor, myself, AJ, and I are in it because they want some of these other losers that no one has ever heard of from NXT to be in the game. Why are these guys not in the DLC pack? Well, it's because no one wants to play with them. That's why, said Schmidt. Yeah, at first it was like, man, I should be upset with that these people are pissed that we're in the game. No, absolutely not. Fuck them. That's kind of where I stand. Yeah, see, here's my thing. Back to what I started this off with. Bless you. It's two worlds. They don't get it. They're nostalgic wrestling fans from the 90s that don't care about it now. Like, this is what's going to happen.
I think
Sarah,
that.
You dug the hole.
Yeah, I think.
You dug the hole.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, my brother-in-law is asking me if I want food.
Okay, continue. I can keep.
Anyway, okay, so I understand wanting to like defend yourself for being in the game, I guess, and like that was maybe why he was a little bit worked up about this topic. So he was just like, "All right, I'm frustrated, so I am gonna lash out, I guess." But it's also like, okay. The WWE fans and wrestling fans in general there's a lot more of them than Pat McAfee show fans. Okay. Secondly, there were people who were trying to defend him and being like, oh, he's just being a heel.
No.
Is he in wrestling? No. Is he in wrestling?
Who's being a heel?
Who the dude talking, whatever the hell his name is. They were saying
Schmidt
that.
And Boston
yeah, whatever the fuck his name is. But that's the thing.
Not in it.
Wrestling fans don't know who the hell you are, brother. People trying to defend him and be like, oh, he's just being a heel. Who the hell is he? No one knows who he is. It's Pat McAfee and those other guys. Like, the only other one I know is Boston Connor, and that's because he's a Patriots fan. That's the only reason why I know who he is.
Boston Connor here, okay?
It's like, that's the only reain, though. Everybody else, like, unless it's a former NFL player, I don't know who you are. So, the thing that I took issue with, other than that crazy way of trying to defend him, is don't downplay or disparage the talent in wrestling and their dedication or how good they are or how many fans they have or they don't have. You don't have to do that in an attempt to defend yourself being in the game. You can say, like, if you guys are mad about me being in the game, then that sucks for you because I'm in a video game. You know, like, you didn't
There's
have
a better
to.
way to go about it, correct?
You did, yeah. You can make fun of the fans for being
way.
mad that you're in the game, but you're able to take a victory lap around them because they're never going to be in a WWE 2K game. You know what I mean? Like, take that route and go after the fans that are trolling you or talking crap to you online. You don't have to involve the wrestling talent that's in WWE, because like Shawn Michaels responded and it kind of felt like,
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
And
I have the whole report up.
I think some of it was, you know, some of it is also going to be just like trying to be a little cheeky, but I think because the clip went viral, not to mention Pat McAfee didn't do himself any favors by laughing about it. It's just like, this is just another situation for me where I just don't like him because I just don't think he respects the business in that way. So it's like, you need to defend the other company that you work for. You might not be getting paid as much as ESPN is paying you, but you can't just like take your days off from WWE, allowing the dudes that you do the show with like talk shit. Like, you can't.
All right.
We don't live in that world. That's not okay.
I have the entire thing up now, and going off of you, Carmen Petrovic, who one of my favorite rising stars in NXT. She responded by tweeting, "God forbid fans want to play with wrestlers in a wrestling game.
Yeah.
Put respect on hashtag WWE NXT." And now we can get to the Shawn Michaels quote. Jesus, Pitts, hit the right thing. He quoted, I have it. He tagged him in the tweet and said, "I'll put my 4 up against your 4 any day of the week. Just say when you want your ass kicking. Get off Pat's jock."
See, it's like he's taking a shot back, but not really. You know what I mean? It's like they were like, you can say something, because if you don't say something, people are going to be like, why didn't you defend the company? But it's also not being too serious, probably because of the Pat McAfee connection. But it was just dirty. Just like not necessary, just classless. Like I said, like when you are trying to defend yourself or whatever, there are so many ways to go about it. You do not have to involve anybody else that has nothing to do with the situation to make yourself look better. Like, you just don't. And as a 30, 40 something year old dude, you should know that by now. Like, the internet shouldn't have to tell you.
All I'm saying is this is going to set up them fighting again, and we're going to get, yes, it is.
No, you don't even know what I was going to say. You have no idea what I was going to say.
I don't. I was saying,
I was going to say nobody wants to see that.
It doesn't matter. It's happening. Like, I don't, it's inevitable.
No one wants to see it. If anything, they want to see it less than they did the first time. So,
I disagree.
Yeah, no.
You don't think wrestling fans want to see these 4 dudes get their ass kicked?
You really think that that's what they would do?
1,000%. It's money. What?
Including McAfee?
Yes. No. Yes. No. No. Where does the money go? Follow the money. It's setting up a match I actually would love to see. And imagine Boston Connor getting hit in the back with a steel chair. Just incredible.
I saw enough of him during Mania Week because he stayed at the same
hotel.
And
I didn't.
He was at the same hotel.
Yeah,
hey, you could have stayed at my hotel. You didn't want to.
Maybe we should have split a room. All right.
Tony Khan was there also.
I know. I would have gave him a hug. I would have absolutely gave him
Mojo Rawley was there.
I would have not given him a hug. I would not have given Roger Molly a hug. Someone I will give a hug to. We're swapping around and I'm going to delete this. Oh, who do I want to give a hug to?
Drew McIntyre?
This guy. No, this guy. I want to give a hug to CM Punk as he is. No, what is he? No, it's not 2024. Well, it's not wrong. He is currently signed through 2024. However, a little longer than that, 2026 through WWE, which makes me so happy because he's going to be home. I know you disagree, but
No,
I want to
mean,
hear your thoughts.
Okay, so the news today was also about the WWE trying to like work out a new contract with him to either extend him past 2026 or whatever. They want to rework his contract to some capacity. We don't know. I have no idea. I don't think that they really revealed why. But I mean, I'm not mad about it because like he's already back in WWE. So like why am I going to be mad that he's staying in WWE? You know, like I'm not a CM Punk fan. So I'm beyond being upset that he's back. You know, like I've already accepted it. You know, he has a fantastic feud with Drew McIntyre right now, which I think Drew McIntyre is carrying, but whatever. But it is what it is. Like this doesn't shock me. He's made his passions known for when he finally hangs up the boots. He wants to be like a trainer or work with the up and coming talent in NXT. So like this isn't unexpected for me, you know, like he's closer to the end anyway. And we already knew that he wants to evolve, as I said, into like a backstage role. So like he's gonna be around probably forever. So like good on him, you know, like it looks like he's definitely proving the doubters wrong about his return to WWE and people who thought that it was going to be an absolute mess because his tenure with AEW was mostly that. But it does appear that he is living up to the things that he has said, that he has changed, he has matured, he sees things now and from the past differently. You know, he's getting along with people. There have been no reports about drama or fights or, you know, choking in the back. There's been nothing.
There's no choking.
So, I mean, I can't be mad, you know, like that's cool for him. Like I'm happy for him at the end of the day. Like that's good for you. Like I'm glad that it's working out for him, and CM Punk fans get to see him for at least 2 more years. You know, cool for you guys. So
thank you. It's really nice. It's really nice to see him back. I will ask you the question, and from an objective standpoint, do you believe CM Punk being in WWE now through the 2026 is best for wrestling as a whole?
In what way? Like if he's an active part of the
active is in he's either in the ring or he's working behind the scenes, either working with certain people or contributing to the producing role or whatnot. Do you think him being a WWE employee is best for wrestling as a whole?
Yeah. Yes,
okay,
because I think that he's a polarizing figure. People have opinions about him, you know, whether they are watching wrestling now or they watched before he left WWE 10 years ago. Like people have feelings about him one way or the other. But he's kind of one of those unique people where there's not that many that are left that are still around wrestling in any way, who lived through the ruthless aggression era, the PG era, who experienced like
done it all.
You know, yeah, he's been around some of the legends of professional wrestling, you know, from the beginning. He's experienced the indies. He's experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. He's been screwed by The Rock. He's not, you know, he's still trying to be main eventing.
Screwed over Tony Khan. Like, yeah, he's screwed, like he's done on both sides of everything.
He's experienced life without wrestling. He's pursued other passions, even if they ended up failing. We're talking about UFC. He went to AEW and tried that out. Got to have some matches, I'm sure, against guys that he dreamt that he would be able to at some point. And although that ended, I think that, and I've said it before, I feel like being away from wrestling for as long as he was, and then having this tumultuous time with AEW almost needed to happen for him. And I don't know him personally, but I'm just speaking from things he said, things we've seen him do. And it seems like he kind of needed the awakening of like, okay, how much does wrestling mean to you? He realized how much it meant to him while he was away from it for so long. He realized that maybe he needed to change his behavior because of everything that happens in AEW, or all the friends that he lost because of, what happened before he left WWE. Like, it put a lot of things in perspective for him. And I think that he realized that if it doesn't work out this time in WWE, like, I'm done. There's nowhere for me to go. And, I think I can still go in the ring, but if I screw this up, I won't have that chance anymore.
Well, it's on him. Yeah.
And he's already mentoring some of the talents in NXT, and I think now that Shawn Michaels is there and he's hashed things out with Triple H, he has a newfound respect for WWE, and he sees his passions going beyond the ring, and once his body is not going to allow him to do it anymore, he's like, all right, I want to pursue this. And I feel like he's too knowledgeable, like I said, too polarizing, has had too many iconic moments in professional wrestling for him to not be like an incredible mentor for, if that's what he wants to pursue. Like, he would be probably great at that. So sorry if that was like a long-winded answer. I just had a lot.
No, that was great because it gives you more time to talk about the other side. His mortal enemy currently, Drew McIntyre. I see this as I'm coming home, and stop, not you. I gotta shut Siri off. She interrupts me all the time. I look at my phone and see Drew McIntyre post on Twitter a picture of him and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Sara, and the caption of the picture was "Real picture, cry me a river." Like,
iconic.
I'm not kidding. This might be the best feud. This is going to go down as like a Hall of Fame feud.
If it continues,
the layers.
This is why I feel like Drew McIntyre does not get the credit that he deserves. Okay? Because this is why I've said that I feel like he's carried this feud. And that's because he's continued it online as well, which, CM Punk has made fun of him about talking about his Twitter fingers, which is funny because he still uses that, even though it's X. But no one's like, he's using his X fingers.
Like, I don't care. I'm calling it Twitter.
But, that might be a criticism that people want to use. However, CM Punk was gone. So the easiest way for him to still be able to incorporate Punk in this feud that they clearly both want to have, and they've expressed it. They wanted that match at SummerSlam. This is the easiest way for Drew to keep that going and to keep fueling the fire and to be able to say things that he wouldn't be able to say on national television because it was either, it had curse words or it might be too provocative, whatever. And he gets people talking. Like, even though this was a photo that he posted with a great caption, it has been deleted. But
we'll get to why.
This is just like the level that he keeps taking it is hilarious because you have to be a pretty well-versed wrestling fan to even understand the context of that photo. Like you need
have to know ball. You have to know ball.
You do. Yeah. Because otherwise you're just going to be like, oh, who is that? Is that a fan? Like, who is this guy? Why am I supposed to care who that is? Or, okay, that's Jack Perry. Why do I care? Like, what, it's like,
it's Luke Perry's kid. That's adorable.
Is it controversial because he's a WWE talent and he's AEW? Like, you have to be involved in CM Punk's story. So I don't know. I think that this is just like adding more to it. And the thing is this might be something Punk can't even address.
No, he can't.
So like that makes it even greater from Drew. Like, king of Twitter. I don't care what anyone says. That man is the ultimate troll, but to his benefit. Meanwhile, his profile picture is still the picture of Punk's face bleeding after he beat him up. Like,
it's incredible. My favorite thing about this is actually something I heard on the Chris Van Fleet podcast was it's stuff like this that separates the WWE fans, the AEW fans, and the wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
There is a clear difference in that. And you have to be a wrestling fan to understand the context. And there's way more of them out there that I think anyone realizes. And that's what matters at the end of the day, is that it's that type of thing. And if you don't know what it is, we put out there, you're going to go freaking look up the whole story.
Yeah.
And boom, you're interested. You now know more about stuff. Like, it's so good for the product as a whole.
And it's involving stuff that is part of everyday life for people now, which is social media. A lot of people get their news from social media. A lot of people seek entertainment from social media. And so Drew McIntyre utilizing his following and the controversy of posting something like this, like, it's brilliant.
It's insane.
I don't agree with Jay, obviously, because he says I can't give credit for keeping a feud going online because I don't notice Drew's tweets. Well, if you don't follow him, that's one.
Jay, that's an issue, not an issue me, my dude.
And also,
I know, I'm sorry.
If Drew did not continue pushing this feud online when Punk was gone, we wouldn't be having a Punk versus Drew McIntyre match at SummerSlam.
You wouldn't care. Like, you would be like, what? You wouldn't.
They would be trying to force that match for us because it was something that maybe they had discussed. But, like, otherwise, Punk would have just had a triumphant return, 2 weeks before SummerSlam. And then maybe he would be the special guest referee in something, because he was just cleared. There would be no connection between him and Drew if Drew didn't continue this online, because he only has so much opportunity to talk his stuff on Raw every week. If he didn't pull you in and make it more controversial online, why would we care? So I disagree. All
right, next topic. I'm gonna take a break from WWE and give a shout out to, did I spell his name wrong? I hope I didn't. Nick Nemeth.
No, that's not
aka FKA, excuse me, Dolph Ziggler is the new TNA World Champion after winning the 6-man elimination match at Slammiversary, which I won't go into the whole show because I've watched it 3 times at this point. But great show overall. I mean, the surprises were unbelievable. I mean, the fact that PCO is as old as he is and is doing moonsaults and winning championships, double championships, and now is engaged to Steph DeLander. It's awesome. PCO is formerly, he was a WWF wrestler in like the 80s and early 90s. He was one of the fabulous Rougeau brothers. The name that you would know that was associated with him, Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's that old, but he's so good now. He's a completely different character.
Jeez.
He's like a zombie looking thing. He came out of a casket, and then they were in some like extreme rule. He beat, who he beat? Top Dollar, not Nada, AJ Francis.
Jimmy Hart as an 80-year-old?
Yeah. But he's good. No, Sarah, like, he's not like Ric Flair falling asleep on the apron. Like,
Top Dollar leaving WWE because he didn't get opportunities just to lose to an 80-year-old in TNA is pretty wild.
I mean, he's like 60, but
Jimmy Hart. I literally just looked it up. He's 80.
No. He was managed by Jimmy Hart.
Oh, managed by Jimmy Hart. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you were talking about Jimmy Hart.
No, he was managed by Jimmy Hart.
Got it.
But which, to my point, though, he's like closer to my dad's age than AJ Francis's age.
Yeah.
So, like, it's insane. But shout out Nick Nemeth, and I want to take this time not only to congratulate him, but
he's 56.
It's still closer to my dad's age than AJ Francis's age. I want to take time too because I agree with the decision. And I know that a lot of people are up in arms that an obvious name should have won this. That name being the one that you say it and he appears. But here's the thing. He pinned the world champion. He pinned Moose to eliminate him. Yeah, he didn't win the championship, but he pinned the world champion.
Who did?
Joe Hendry, because it was a 6.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Was that not perfect timing?
It was so good. It was so good. That was. I hope that clip goes somewhat viral because that was funny. He pinned Moose when Moose was the champion.
Mm-hmm. And eliminated him.
And eliminated from the match so that we're going to have a new champion. Mm-hmm. That means more than putting the belt on him, because what that means is that that's his, key card access, whatever, to the main event picture.
The we believe in you.
Like, we believe in you, not the gimmick, real life.
Yeah.
That means more so that we're going to see Joe Hendry in bigger feuds that mean more. He can go to NXT and do all this stuff. Like,
he's taking over NXT.
Taking over.
He's getting a concert. He had a nearly 4-minute video package.
Yeah, he narrated some shit on NXT too. Like, the man is just taking. Shawn Michaels loves him. Who doesn't?
I don't know. The TNA NXT partnership is so wild to me, especially because maybe they don't have their biggest stars. Like, it's not like Moose is on NXT, so I'm not saying they're just like lending out their top talent, but like a lot of people are not bigger than Joe Hendry right now. Maybe he's not the star of your company, but he's like the most viral sensation right now.
No,
so the fact that he's doing double duty in TNA is cool, with him being so featured in NXT is pretty cool.
It's really cool.
And good for him.
And really good for him. I can't wait to see what comes of it, especially with the whole Gala shit. It's awesome. Oh my god,
if it's like anything like what they had with Elias.
I think I have an inkling that he's going to a concert about Gallus. Like,
yeah, I just mean like the way that like peak Elias, so good.
Oh my god, it was unbelievable.
And WrestleMania, that whole song at WrestleMania, oh my god, like that type of stuff from Joe Hendry. But he's like in between. He's such a tweener. It's like he's a bad guy, he's a good guy. Like, you're supposed to hate him because he's kind of annoying, but it's like his songs are so catchy and he's like so charismatic. It's like you love him, but it's like he's kind of
so catchy.
Yeah.
That it's caught on to the NFL. Jamal Williams, new running back of the New Orleans Saints. Training camp has started. So the fans got their phones. They go to Jamal Williams. Not prompted. I want to really emphasize that this was not a wrestling fan prompting him. Jamal Williams went over to the fan and goes, "Hey, I got this song stuck in my head. I just learned something. I got to share this with you guys. I got to share things. I believe in Joe Hendry."
No, he sang the whole thing. He said, "Say his name and he appears." I believe. Yeah, he did the whole thing.
It's when I tell you that Joe Hendry could have smashed the door between pop culture and the wrestling world. Oh, it's what I've been waiting for my entire life, is for these things to coexist. It's just, I can't wait. I mean, thank you, Joe Hendry.
For me, it's like so exciting for him, just because like I don't have to be a big fan of somebody. Like, I like Joe Hendry, but I can't say I've been a fan of his longer than, when we started playing his video on our stream. Like, I didn't know about him before that, and I'm not pretending to. But I think it's cool when that someone grew up a wrestling fan, that this has always been their dream, and that they've been busting their ass to try and just like get noticed, and we know that that's been Joe Hendry's path, similar to like LA Knight. LA Knight just like he grew at that one, like he just popped off that one night and then just like has been up and up since then. And it's kind of like that's what's going on with Joe Hendry. So to me, it's just really cool that he's finally being showcased and people are loving it. He's going viral. I mean, he's now touching the NFL. It's not just like, oh, he's in TNA and he's in NXT, he's in WWE. Now he's in the NFL. Like, he's on billboards. Like, it doesn't matter that he bought them. You know, it's like,
no, he's on them.
People are bringing signs for him to WWE shows. Like, I don't know. I just think it's pretty cool when you finally see something work out for somebody who's just tried really hard. I don't know. I think it's really cool. So
it's very cool.
I also wonder if we were kind of on the hype train of Joe Hendry before everybody else was, because
we know we were. I don't even.
Yeah, I'm not even like OG fans, but I just remember you played that video for me, and I was like, "What the hell is this? Like, who is this?" Like, I remember people saying in the chat, being like, "Who's Joe Hendry?" And it was like no one knew who he was, and then it was like 2-3 weeks later, everybody was like, "I believe in Joe Hendry." I'm like, "Where have you been?"
We got ahead of it. We weren't the first aboard
the bandwagon train. We were the conductors of the bandwagon train. That's what it is. Because I would say we're bandwagon. I'm sure he had fans before, 2 months ago
we merged.
When he blew up.
We merged but
we are like the middle of the OG fans in the bandwagon. We're like right in the middle.
We did something. I know we did. And then before the 3 count, Rikishi's not happy with the treatment of his son Jey Uso on Raw. Believes that he should have been Money in the Bank winner, and instead he's doing stuff with mommy and not liking that. And here's the thing, I don't want to go too much into this on my part, at least, because I will. Yeah, that's sad. That's why. But all I really have to say about this, because it really kind of pissed me off in a way, because it's Rikishi obviously just doesn't get the big people. Obviously, he wants his son to be champion and in the main picture and all that. But do we realize that Jey Uso has a civil war to prepare for?
Exactly.
With the bloodline, Like, you can't have him in the world title picture and then just take him out of it or rip him out of it to put him in the bloodline story. Like, he needs to be doing nothing and pretty much sitting on the sidelines waiting to be put in before the Civil War, because that's going to be a saga. All right. Yeah. That's going to be even more important than him fighting for the world title picture, because it's an legendary feud that could really change wrestling. I don't know. That's me being hopeful, and I'm not even in the family. I'm not even in the bloodline. But
yeah, I mean, when you hear this, you get it. He's his dad. Jimmy's hurt, so like he's not there, so he can't necessarily advocate for him as well. But like, everybody assumes that the bloodline is going to face the bloodline 2.0 whenever Roman is able to come back, whenever The Rock gets involved. We assume that Jey is going to move over to SmackDown and he's going to join up with Roman and his brother to go against the bloodline 2.0. Like, we all believe that that's what is going to happen. Because I think the thing that I take the most issue with is you have an issue with his booking now. That's the problem you have. But before, this like dead period, I guess you could say, of Jey Uso, he was on Raw every single week. He was tag teaming with Sammy. He was doing stuff with Cody. He was a tag team champion with Cody. Like, he was doing a bunch of stuff and was on TV every single week. And we didn't have an issue then. But now that he's kind of like in this weird period that wrestlers go through, because they don't always have things for you, or they see the long term, like down the road story that you're going to be in. So it's kind of an awkward time for you to really get involved in anything else. Like that, you need to be a little bit more understanding of that. And you would think he would know, because he's a former professional wrestler.
You would think, but
talks to his son. I'm assuming that the plans are already set. So wouldn't Jey have already told him, like, oh, this is what's going to happen? Not to mention, wouldn't you be excited that you could potentially see Solo versus Jey? Is that not exciting to you? And that would be a main event, because they're trying to build Solo up to that, and like that seems exciting to me. You get a double whammy right there. Wouldn't you want to see your sons also reunite as a tag team? Because that is where they've thrived the most. Like, you just, I don't know. I feel like you just need to be patient, accept what is happening right now, but know that bigger things are coming soon. To me, that should be enough, don't you think?
I agree. But what do I know? What do I know, Sarah?
Nothing.
I'm just a champion in a cave. But we're going for the pin.
Gets told that I'm wrong on the internet all the time. So
yeah, ignore it. I get told I'm wrong all the time, and then I prove them right. That's what you do.
Same.
That's what people like us are meant to do.
Like Solo Sikoa being the next tribal chief.
Like Joe Hendry has a really catchy theme song. We kind of, I was saying that well before. But it's time for the 1, 2, 3 count. We're going quick with the 1, 2. It's a fast count today, Sarah. We're doing kind of lightning round type things to get to, because I'm going to be. So, number 1, all right, you're going to think of a topic, and I'm going to think of a topic of wrestling things, and we have to give you each other 3 things in 5 seconds. So, like, example would be like pay-per-views, and you have to give me pay-per-view.
Okay.
Like 3 pay-per-views in 5 seconds.
Okay.
So, all right. So, do you want me to start?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Match types.
Ladder tag and tornado tag. I was gonna say tornado DDT.
I heard the D there, and I'm like,
I know.
That's a move type or move set. All right, give me one.
3 old wrestling shows that do not exist anymore.
Saturday Night's Main Event, Super Show, One Night in Texas, and Nitro.
See, I was gonna say Velocity, Sunday Night Heat.
Velocity was a good one.
Yeah, like those. What was it? What was it before Main Event too? What was it used to? I don't know.
Was it something before Main Event?
I think before. Well, Main Event is the show that they.
No, Main Event. No, not Saturday
Night.
The
film before. Yeah, no, it used to be something else. I don't remember right now, but the OG fans remember Velocity and Sunday Night Heat. I have another good one.
Okay, give me one.
I was going to say, name 3 old sponsors.
Jugs, the boots. No, lugs, not jugs. Lugs.
Jugs. That's what I thought. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. 90s WWE.
No, there was a spray tan one, and then like Wendy's.
Stacker 2.
Stacker was one because the
YJ Stinger. Slim Jim.
I can't. All right.
I've considered doing the Y2 or the Stinger rap that I know and posting it on TikTok, but I'm nervous that people would make fun of me.
I think you should just go for it. We believe. We believe, Sarah. And 2, we believe that we know wrestling theme songs, I think, pretty fucking well. Because hopping in the yard here, Sarah and I were just going off on theme songs. And the names that we heard, I want to challenge Stash Club to this. I would love to have like a Family Feud.
No, we would own
game
them.
Show.
Stop. They started watching wrestling in like 2012. Okay.
That's not what I think we would dominate.
That's what I'm saying.
I love them. I fucking.
That's great.
I think I got Sweep City on one, and it was the theme song.
No, I'm saying we would kill them because they didn't. I'll never forgive them because they didn't even know the NWO's theme song. The fact they don't even know one of the most iconic theme songs in wrestling history.
It's pretty tough.
That means that we would obliterate them. We would embarrass them on their own channel.
Yeah, but I know like 80s. Like I know random.
Yeah.
And the PG, which like that's my
the PG
tonight. That. Like
that was when I was. That was when I was going to show after show after show after show.
We should go. We should put up the tag team titles. We should do it. But enough of that nonsense. Let's talk about this. Hold on, Sarah. I'm using it. Fuck it, because I need a reason to. Yeah. Damn right, it's time for some nonsense because we're hopping to the nonsense galaxy, Sarah, the Nonsense Wrestling Federation, where I play 2K
Mm-hmm.
and play as Bad Gal Sara Marshall. And if you've been following along, I've been teasing it all show. Twitch.tv/Nonsense Sports Network every Wednesday. I even tweet and post on Instagram when I go live. So go do that. But yeah, you see here, it says Demon Saga. What does that mean? Well, Sara, if you were listening or watching the stream, I called Sara. And because I forgot, hand up, I forgot what you told me you wanted to go. And it was either Rhea, Liv Morgan.
It was because you never asked.
I thought I did. I have a vivid memory of asking. But you obviously chose Alexa Bliss. And we had an inkling of where this was going to go. So I was intrigued at first. She's talking about, what it's like to be on Raw, if any help. And you inquire about, touching into the dark side and all of that. She gives you an amulet that gives you some weird powers.
Okay.
You face off against, I forget who at this point, because there was so much. Whoever you fought against in the first match doesn't matter. But you beat them, and you felt different. Okay, you felt different during the match. And you told Alexa this. She said, don't go too crazy. You're going to have some crazy powers happen. Like, just control it. Don't let it control you. And you then get into a match with Michin. And Alexa warns Michin that she shouldn't mess with you. Like, you don't want this one-on-one match with her. You sucked the soul out of her body.
Oh.
No, like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, you had this power where you threw her up in the air. There's a green shit spinning. And then you sucked the soul out of her body. And then after that, you turned into Sara like a zombie.
Okay.
Like you literally have like an Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt 6. Your person would be great in the Wyatt 6. Like, kind of think of how that looks if you haven't watched it yet. With a skull as a face painted. We don't get to see your beautiful face. It's skull painted.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy shit. Okay. So that happens, and then we enter the second part because I was so intrigued. After Finn Balor is in your side, he's in your corner because you guys get to talking about the demon side and all this. And before you did turn Michin into a soulless human, he warned you, to be cautious. Don't let these powers control you. And then you beat someone in a squash match. And literally, like, we hit the razor's edge and then the AO twice, and then it was over. Like, it was insane. And then Finn faced Damian Priest. See, this is why I texted you that we were in Judgment Day. Like, I was like, oh my God, it's your dream come true. But that wasn't, because they were facing each other. So I was very confused. And Finn squashed Damian.
Cool.
Like, squashed.
Dream.
Hit a coup de grace. Boom. By the way, that's because you're now with Finn. You do the coup de grace. Like, that's one of your signatures now.
Okay.
So as I'm saying, like, as it's all happening, keep in mind too, you're possessed. Like, you're possessed. I have no control over, like, if you listen to the commentary, I'm Paul Heyman and you're Solo Sikoa. Like, there is just no getting to you. Okay. Very frustrating. And then the whole thing ends when he pins Damian, and all of a sudden the lights flicker off. We get the smoke in the ring, and then boom, you resurrected the Demon King Finn Balor.
Oh my God.
The Demon King Finn Balor is back,
Demon.
and why am I thinking Demon King?
Because that's what they tried to push, because they were like, we can't call him the Demon because that's what we call Kane.
I
hated that.
I'm such a guinea pig to marketing. So you resurrected the Demon, and now you two are some unholy union.
How did you not tell me until now? This is like my fantasy come to life.
Sarah's waiting for said moment to tell you because I knew it would make you very happy.
Fergie! Oh my god.
He's like you. I there's many things I could call because you have control over him. That's the thing that we're if you really need to watch.
He can't escape my love, you know.
Like this is why you guys have to watch because I am explaining this and it sounds like ridiculous and just something like a fantasy. No, it's like legit in the game. Like, go check it out. It's I didn't even do it justice. Like you're possessed. Like there's no controlling you. It's literally one of my favorite streams I ever did because all I did was just play like the side puppet Paul Heyman to the Bloodline. Now is the best comparison I can make, where I'm just along for the ride and commenting on what's going on as you just beat the shit out of like Michin. Oh, Tamina, you kicked the shit out of Tamina. That was rude. The poor girl. And then you possess Finn Balor and Alexa Bliss. And yeah, so
cool.
Now we have to go back to the possessed bad gal next week and figure out what the hell's going to happen with you and Demon Finn.
I'll be pregnant, so it's all right. I'll have a demon
then you can't
spawn.
go in the ring, Sarah. You can't work.
I'll have a demon spawn.
Oh my god. If I see a fucking child next week, I'm going to lose it. All right. I can't. No. I can you come? Vinci, can you come with me to save Sara, the bad gal, from being possessed? I can't do it alone. I mean, it's just I can't. No, I don't want to see the ass. All right, I'm reading the comments. I'd rather see the comments here about the Demon Saga. Is a very good title. Thank you, Vinny. I needed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. Go tune in next Wednesday. All right, it's so fucking fun. I can't wait to do it again. And thank you guys for tuning in to this edition of the No Nights Off show. We will not be back this weekend. Okay. I have a friend in town. I can't wait to.
But we're on a wrestling show.
You
tomorrow.
are no. I was gonna let you finish the segue.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You got the info. But
yeah,
we are on a show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Yes.
Yes. It's Snug Wrestling. And I don't know where he streams. He might stream on YouTube. I think he posts clips and stuff on TikTok. But once I get the information and whatever, I will make sure to post it on Twitter. And then if I can, I'll try and make a post on YouTube so that you guys can come and watch because I believe we live stream. So we'll be doing that. Yeah. And then I also am doing a Patriots stream tomorrow. So if you're a Patriots fan, hop on over to the Musket Fire YouTube channel. I'll be there at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Go do that, please. Subscribe and hit that bell notification as well. So yeah, that's all we got. Thank you guys for tuning into this edition. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. Hopefully see you tomorrow night. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.